Oh. 3, 2, 1, contact.
Wrapping up that back series, low back pain, some of the moves that we started doing with our clients.
And we got moves.
We do, we do.
Yes, you bet your booty.
We covered a lot of rotational stuff, which I think we probably should have covered that last. Now, we're gonna do a move right now, the bird dog from the quadruped position, which I think a lot of boot camps and trainers I see doing this all over the place. Very, very rare do I see someone perform this movement correctly.
It's one of the most
a lot of ugliness out there.
Yeah, it's horrible.
It's actually really challenging when done correctly.
Yeah.
Because it really is the progression to the other stuff that we did before, like a floor bridge, a wall back press, those type of moves that we talk. You got to be able to do that. You have to be able to first to control your spine and understand how to get your vertebrae to communicate together and get yourself in a neutral spine alignment before you start to do these bilateral type movements.
And are you disconnected from right to left or left to right?
Not bilateral. I meant to say. Whatchamacallit. So I'm gonna get down in the quadruped. So I get down in the quadruped position. Now right away in this position, I have this excessive arch in my low back that I have to fix. So if I were to just get down here without really thinking about it and start doing my bird dog, I'm not addressing that arch that I have in my low back. So I need to first get my hands underneath my shoulder, my knees are about shoulder width apart, and then before I start this movement, right away I need to rotate the pelvis.
You do like a slow motion partial twerk.
Right? So this is naturally where I want to be because I have that low back, anterior pelvic tilt. As I want to take that in, I want to rotate the pelvis in. So right away, I'm already activating my core and my abs to keep myself into this neutral spine. I have to maintain that. Then I'm going to take opposite hand, opposite knee, and then I'm going to extend out as straight as possible while maintaining that. Now, the first thing that happened when I extend is I want to dip into that arch again. And so I have to stay rotated in. So that's really challenging for me.
It's really hard.
That is definitely point number one.
And you got to really create real strong lines of tension coming out that back foot
all the way through this middle finger. I mean, he's reaching all the way out so he can get a nice stretch, but really just create that tension line all the way down.
The tension line comes out through the toes. He's pointing his toes, pressing out. He's pressing out with the hand. You can see that he's got some loss of mobility here in the shoulder because the arm can come up a little higher. Sometimes I'll have people rotate their hand a little bit. That helps them get in that position. And you do reps.
You'll see people that don't want to extend their knee all the way. They don't want to extend their elbow all the way. They're just trying to maintain balance and control. So
I think the most common thing I see is this.
You
know, the swinging, they're short right here. Their back leg's not extending all the way out.
They're overarching.
They're overarching in their low back like I do. So it should be a very slow and controlled movement. And then at the end of it, you're paying attention to how your hips are positioned. Are you able to get that shoulder up in a line? Are you able to get your leg all the way out straight? And then keeping that tension before you bring back in. I mean, I'm already out of breath just from two reps if you do this correctly.
This is one of those at the very base, that cross-sectional firing that, I mean, it's essential that we learn that process in great detail so that way that translates into now when I'm walking or I'm running or I'm doing anything else where I need that to fire in that specific sequence.
In fact, a lot of back pain and problems come from a dysfunction in cross-sectional firing. When I'm reaching and twisting and trying to go from one side to the other while doing a movement in a different plane, and then my back gets hurt. This helps the brain communicate with the body.
There is an order of operation though here, like that to me, out of everything that we've
one of the first ones.
Well, it's one of them. It's you definitely would be doing back presses first because you take someone like me who has a arch in the back, and right away when you're communicating to opposite sides, that's a lot to think about. So, you know, doing things that are on the floor where you're stationary, you have gravity to help you out, or against a wall where you have feedback, also nice. There's no feedback for me as I'm extending that opposite arm, opposite leg.
So now if you did that and I was to grab a prop, and I grab a stick, this is one way that you can provide that sort of a feedback if you're a trainer. So if you get back down into the quadruped position, and I wanted to give you kind of feedback with your back of the points of contact here.
Yes.
Okay, so that way now he's touching. Okay,
and then I want my head.
And his head, the back of his head and the nodule right here is touching. Now I want you to bring one leg up. Yep. Now go for that same extension. all the way out.
And he loses the low
Well,
back.
you can see
It's very
where
difficult.
it breaks. So this is like, I mean, very, very tough once you really put like
It shows you how
a metric there. You put a standard there for you to kind of try to achieve.
This is an excellent tip. This is why most people won't even be able to get to this point yet. I mean, you'll still be on the ground or you'll still use the wall because you see how much I broke down when I completely extended my leg and my arm.
Excellent.